Everything we do here at James Project focuses on caring for vulnerable women and children because we believe that's the call that God has placed on every one of us as Christians.
Hi, Tiffany. We're back with another James Project update for December. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. It's cold here, hence the hat. I just came back from town and it was chilly, and then you get home and it's like not ready to take off the hat
Oh,
yet.
a
Is it
hot
cold
shower.
there?
It is
Right.
cold here.
Yeah.
It is cold here. It's warmer today than it was yesterday, and I mean, there's like we're supposed to be like 50 today, which is
Hmm.
not bad, but it's been like in the 20s,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like that again tomorrow. So yeah,
Yeah. It was
I
26
don't
here
like.
too. Mm.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'd be happy with a white Christmas and then spring.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not bad until New Year's. On New
Hmm.
Year's Day, I'm ready for it to warm back up, and I've had all I can stand of it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why I go to Guatemala in January.
There we go. Right. So what's going on this month?
Well, this month is more of a low-key month. Honestly, it's kind of the end of the year. We don't have any teams this month from North America. There's a couple Guatemalan churches that come and celebrate with us and do different things.
Mm.
And today we have some of our board members there. Sadly, I couldn't be there this year, but we have our staff Christmas party this year. But really, it's a low key month. Our kids, it's a time of vacation. Our our whole staff rotate through their vacation, and it's relaxing and celebrating the birth of Christ. It's pretty much what we do in December.
Mm, that's nice. Do you have a certain holiday like all the kids get presents, right?
It depends on if we have the money to do it, but yes, this year, typically every year and this started our first year there as directors. We were asking the kids what they wanted for Christmas, and what are some things that would be special to them, and they told us at that point is they just wanted good memories. They
Oh,
wanted to do something because they'd had so many bad memories. They wanted good memories, to kind of replace them. So as soon as we could, we started every year taking kids on a trip.
oh,
And we've gone to the water park, we've gone to the zoo, we've taken them to Chuck E. Cheese, we've taken them to a movie. So we've done a variety of things with them, which is always fun. But then on Christmas Eve is the big celebration in Latin America. And we have tamales, we have ponche, we have fireworks, movies, games. We do a lot of celebration on Christmas Eve, and it's a family time, and they get stockings typically with grapes. I think it's grapes and oranges and apples maybe in them. And then it's a tradition when there's enough money to do it, that they get a new outfit, and that's their Christmas present. So
that makes
when we can swing it, everybody gets a new outfit as well for Christmas,
sense.
which is a lot when there's that many kids.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah, that
that's
is
what we are looking at doing this year again. So, yeah,
mm.
it's fun.
How many kids are on property right now?
We are at 109 at the moment.
Mm, yeah, that's
That's
a
the
lot of
update I got yesterday. It's a lot of outfits. But then we try, yeah, we've got the 109, and then but then when we do the other stuff, we try to include house parents' kids too. With the outfits, we don't, just because our kids get them because they don't have parents to give them their
hmm.
outfit. So
Hmm.
that is the one thing we don't necessarily include the house parents' kids in, is those. But then we have the kids in the city as well
Yeah, yeah.
that
Well,
we try
that's
to cover. And then we
hmm.
have our women's ministry, our redeemed women. We do a party for them and have
Oh,
gifts for them and their kids as well.
that's nice. And do you do that on the property or around the
No,
community?
no, we typically go. Last year we took them to, there's some pools that are close by. And we took them there, and we have food and celebration there for them. I got the budget, but I don't remember what they said they're doing this year with
Hmm.
the women that are in the program. But it's always, we try to do something with them to show them we love them, and just celebrate Jesus with them.
Oh, that's nice. That must be really nice for them. All right. So what else is going on? Anything?
We that's pretty much it. We are still working on the new project. We've got on the women the Village of Hope. We're still digging the well. They ran into some pretty hard rocks and had to bring in different machinery to get through it. So they're just now getting through the harder rocks, and hopefully the well will be completed soon. We're
Mhm,
still working on getting electricity run to the project. So just the basics are, on the Village of Hope, but we're also still running the match campaign so that we can do the other things as well. So
mhm,
through the end of the year, we're still running the $125,000 match. There was a Canadian donor that gave another 25,000 of Canadian dollars, so that it was actually every dollar would count for three. So you'd get $2 for every dollar. So
mhm,
that's been going on. And so if anybody feels led to give an end of the year gift,
mhm.
it will be doubled or tripled depending on when it comes in.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, lots that can be done on that land with that money too. So,
There's a whole lot. I mean, if you think of the fact that if we double 125,000, it's 250,000, which here, I mean, you're lucky to build a house on
mhm,
that, especially with, when you buy the lot, it's just, it doesn't leave you a lot here. And there we're looking at the six houses. We're looking at a basketball court. We're looking at a playground. I mean, there's so many families that are going to be able to benefit. They're looking at having water, electricity. Um, so, I mean, it's
sounds like,
amazing how far that money will stretch down there.
hmm, yeah, yeah, that is incredible. And yeah, some of those women for the first time having water and electricity, those
Yeah.
families. Yeah.
A and you look at all the things that can affect, because then if they have water, when you're coming from a place that doesn't have water and you can stay hydrated, which
Mhm,
we see kidney failure all the time from either no water or dirty water. And if
mhm,
we have pure water coming on the system, which coming into the property, which we hope we do, they can bathe, they can get their feet off the dirt floors. So if they're living in adobe, yeah, I mean, there's so many sicknesses that are prevented when you get them up off of that. I mean,
mm,
there's just so many good things that
yeah,
can come from this, and the kids have stability and
mm,
consistent education, and they're not bouncing around. I mean, and the women can get education. So there's just
mhm,
so many opportunities to change generations and generations of families to come.
yeah. Yeah. And I know I just did an interview with Sue and Dave, and they were talking about the house they built for the widow right by the Stinky
Yes.
River there,
Yeah.
and how they had to show her how to use a toilet. She was in her
Yeah.
80s and she'd never used a toilet. Like, that's
Isn't that
incredible. I mean,
When our kids come to us at the project, we keep telling them, because we have the pure water, just like
mhm,
when a team does, you have pure water
yeah,
and you're supposed to drink from there. But they've never had, so a lot of them have never had access to water. And if they do, it's the water from the pila or something like that, which is dirty and contaminated and they shouldn't drink it. But trying to retrain them to drink the pure water. I
oh,
remember one day we gave this long talk about, hygiene and drink this water. This is going to make you sick. I mean, it's this whole thing. I think we even had doctors come out and,
mm,
go through this and try to make it fun for the kids to understand. And we're like, okay. And we break up, and a kid ran and opened the faucet on the side of the house and started drinking. And we're like, no.
don't know anything.
Yeah, that's we just talked about this. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a big training. And our toilets there on the property, a lot of kids haven't had toilets. So often we're having to clean our septics, because we'll find they'll flush towels down it, um, their underwear, toys. It just gets clogged up constantly because they just start flushing whatever because they've not had to
Right.
deal with it before.
Like,
Yeah,
what isn't here?
yeah. Fun game for them. So there's a lot of lessons you don't realize you're going to need to teach
Mhm.
when they come on. Yeah, which I didn't think about it until just now, but we probably need to address some of those when they go into the Village of Hope also.
Good idea. Yes.
Some kind of screen you can put like on the toilet so it blocks the towels that can't go down. Something, some kind of protection.
Yeah, that's funny, but not unlike toddlers here,
Right. Well, these are
So,
teenagers doing it though, so I mean, there is that.
same amount of opposed to a toilet, probably. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad that you're going to be able to do that. So you don't have any sort of projected date for the opening of Village of Hope, right? Because it's just a matter of how these things progress. Yeah,
Yeah, and we're moving forward on it, and it depends on when they can come and install electricity, because you can start going after it and trying to get the electricity there, but you're on somebody else's timeline.
right.
In Guatemala, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but they don't always move as fast as you want them to.
We
Or they
call it
can say they're gonna show up one day and then they don't come for a long, or they'll be in the middle of it and decide to leave, and then they don't come back for a while later.
yeah.
So it's, yeah, we're kind of at their mercy. But I will
Mhm.
say, over the next year, because we're still praying about CNA and getting that approval, which has been, please continue to pray with us. It's been a battle. We're doing everything we can, but again, I mean, we just hit another wall, and they just changed all of the people who are working there. So the new people now have new expectations, and I mean, it's a constant stress for us, honestly. But I'm really feeling led, and I'm praying through what we do, because I feel like there's so much that can be done for orphan prevention and to help the vulnerable and protect the vulnerable from exploitation in the community. So
Mhm.
really focusing, as we're focusing on the Village of Hope, and then focusing on the community, on the nation, reaching out to churches, reaching out to these vulnerable families, and starting working with them, identifying, what are the needs in this community? What are the needs that you have that are setting this family up for failure? And how does the church come alongside and lift this family up to prevent that exploitation from happening?
Yeah.
And I think there's just a huge opportunity on that front end that we can be taking now, even if CNA is still holding us up. So I think there's, and I love our children's home, and I love our kids, and I love all of that. But the reality is, if they never have to come into care because they've never been hurt, that's way better.
That
So
is
the more we can do on that end. So God is starting to plant some ideas, some dreams, some things, that I really feel like we need to do over the foreseeable future on this end, especially while we're waiting to expand our
Expand.
children's home.
Yeah, yeah. That's wonderful. Those are very noble aspirations. And I think you're right. I think it would be a huge impact to the community as a whole to really bring some education and some awareness to the exploitation and help churches to recognize it and be able to step in where they can. Because that's what we're called to do as a church. We're,
Right.
it's not just the children's homes or the courts or, other people. It's we as the church, the hands and feet of Jesus, are to do that. So to bring that
And I think
unity.
the churches, but I think there's a lot of, and I believe the church has got to be the center of it. But I
Mhm.
think forming a collaboration, even with doctors in the area, maybe they're believers, maybe they're not, but to focus on, we have so many families that are in desperate situations because of a health issue. The
Mhm.
dad is had kidney failure, has lost a limb, is on dialysis, and now the woman can't do anything, and the
Mhm.
kids are in vulnerable situations. Okay, so let's look at this even from a community standard. What's happening at this level that has now put this whole family and the following generations at risk? And is there something that can be done holistically that we can come together and make a true change and a lasting impact there? Because I do think I think the church has a part. I think the government has to have a part because they're the law of the land. But I think the medical community, I think the educational system, I think there's so many pieces, business leaders, because there's jobs that we could be developing. There's training, there's different things that we could be doing to really lift the community, and,
Mhm.
and the vulnerable people as a whole,
Mhm.
if we could figure that out. And I know that's everybody's question, is how do you do that? But I think there's a lot of opportunity to begin exploring that and walking that out a little more in Guatemala.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you're taking this season of having to wait on expanding the home and not just sitting back and waiting. Like you're letting God work in you and think about what could we be doing in the waiting season? Because he doesn't often have us in a waiting season for no reason. So
Right.
um, I love that you're letting him work through you like that and really be open to being open to what he might have in mind for this season. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's not anybody who knows me knows I'm not super great at waiting. So I appreciate this year has been a year of really focusing on that, trying to figure out what rest looks like, trying to figure out what abiding in him looks like. That's one thing I would encourage anybody to do, because I do think that that's the most important thing is waiting in him and figuring out where he's leading you and going there. And like you said, if you're waiting, there's something in it. There's something there that he has for you. So figuring that out is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. And it keeps us, I think, if we can learn to do that, it keeps us from getting ahead of him and tripping ourselves up. Because anytime we're ahead of him, we're going to fall on our face. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So last time we talked, you were looking for two sets of new house parents. Now you're down to looking for one,
We have
right?
one starting at the middle of this month.
Mhm,
And the first 2 months are always a trial to make sure that they like the job, make sure that they're doing it well. So it's
mhm,
a trial on both sides. And the set of house parents that are starting the middle of this month, for anybody who's been around a while, is Marina, who was here for many years. She was one of the first kids. She actually, when the project was in the city, she was in the city with the project and moved to Monjas when the project did, and her husband Chofo. So they'll be coming in the middle of this month. And Marina was one of the girls when Brian and I first got involved with the project in 2006. She was one of the first girls we sponsored and has always been very, very dear to our hearts. She was also our first, I believe I'm saying this correct, our first upper level graduate. She graduated from nursing school.
oh, that's
And so she's got a nursing degree. She loves the Lord. She's been serving at her church, and they just had a baby. So she's a new mom too, but she has been wanting to come back and be a parent at the project for a long time, which she's got so much to offer. Because when she came in, and I shared this with you before, I mean, when kids come in, as beautiful as it is, it's different, and they don't want to be there when they first get there.
mhm.
And she tells a story about how she tried to escape in Monjas, and she ran to the wall, and it was close to the Ceiba, I think. But she's just a little short thing. And she said, and I was jumping, and she's always been pretty athletic. She's like, but I was too short to ever reach the top of the wall. And I was trying so hard to escape, but I couldn't reach the top. So I just picture her there just jumping and jumping. So we're excited to have her back. It always blesses us when kids who are there, they want to give back and they love it and they see the value in it and want to come back and serve again.
Yeah.
And there's something special because they understand where these kids are. They understand where they're coming from. And they also understand kind of what they need.
Yeah.
So we're very, very excited.
Mm. And I think it's so healing for them as well, not only just to be around the same people that love them through their hard stuff, but to be able to be that person to another child who, to be that person that somebody wasn't for them. You know what I mean? Very, very therapeutic, very healing to be able to step in and show up for a kid
It
that
is.
they can
It
relate to.
is.
Yeah.
For us, for all any of us that have been around very long,
Mm,
it's amazing to see. And you get frustrated sometimes because the judges send the kids back into situations and you're like, what's happening?
mhm.
Or a kid leaves and then falls into a life that you don't want for them, it breaks your heart. And sometimes it feels so discouraging. And then have situations like this where you think, you know what, it's like the parable of the seed. You throw a little bit and it multiplies itself again and again and again. And there are those lives where you see the multiplication and we don't always get to see it. Sometimes we don't know what if it's multiplying, how much it's multiplying, but the times that God allows us to see that is pretty special, and
Yeah.
it's very encouraging.
Hmm. Yeah. Because it's a tough job. So it's good to be able to
Yeah.
have to see that fruit.
Yeah.
And
Every once in a while to see just a little bit of light.
Yeah, that's funny. And so you need one more set of house parents.
We do. We
Okay.
are still in the interview process for the other set of house parents, so please be in prayer with us that we find someone soon. We have both Casa Abigail. Parents left there at the end of October, and then Casa Tabitha will be leaving by the end of this month. So uh,
Mhm.
the Marina and Chofo will be going in Casa Abigail because they've been empty a while, but
Mhm.
we'll still need some parents for Casa Tabitha.
Mhm. And when you say empty, that you have Tias in there with the kids
Yes,
taking
yeah,
turns.
but they're not sitting there just by themselves. Yeah, yeah,
Just
we
leave
do have team
the kids out
substituting people.
there. All right. And how's the match going? Oh, you did say that. Yeah. It goes through
Yep,
the end of the year,
and
right?
the end of the year. Yes, so we're not quite there yet, but so if anybody wants to give,
But
we
it's
it will
still
all
and
there's
still
still time to give.
good.
Yes, and this is a wonderful time to give.
Hmm. And you can give in honor of someone, right? Is there,
Mhm.
you could put that in the note, give in
Yes, you
honor.
can
So
on
it's
the
a great
website.
Christmas gift,
It
right?
is.
For that person who has everything and doesn't need anything.
That's
It's not
right.
like buying a star, but
That's, that's right. It's
yeah.
buying a rescue. A
Right.
rescue is what you're getting there.
Yeah. So great gift idea. All right. And you have in January, you're going to have a couple of vision trips. So that
We
we'll
have
try to get you.
and January 7th, Brian and I fly back down. We're actually here for a month, which doesn't happen that often.
Mhm.
We'll be flying back down and having some meetings with staff. And then we have a group flying in on the 10th.
Mhm.
That this is always the time of year where we hike the volcano. So we have some pastors flying in early to hike with us. And then the
Mhm.
rest of the group flies in on the 13th, and we'll be showing them around that week. So I'm excited. We've got, I think it is 4 different churches that are participating in that vision trip.
Mhm.
It's either 4 or 5. So I would
Yeah.
encourage if somebody, the vision trips are really set up for churches that want to get in or that are interested in missions, looking at missions opportunities and possibly wanting to get involved. And so if a
Mhm.
pastor wants to come down, we encourage everybody to check out a location before getting involved, just to make sure it's legitimate, that it's real, that you know, and you know what you're walking into when you lead a team down there. Or
Mhm.
if somebody knows, if you believe in the James Project and what we're doing, and you have friends that are considering giving, or have the ability or desire to get involved, but want to check out the legitimacy too, vision trips are the way to do it. So please reach out to me. We do about 3 a year that we take teams down or people down and let them look around and see everything. And they're a good time. It's a
Yeah.
quick trip in and out, but it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Great opportunity to see the inner workings too, because you go over the whole project and the vision for the project and how things work. And it's very thorough understanding for people.
Yes.
So, well,
Yes, and it's a
good.
great time to so I can get to know them as well. And
Mhm.
I love meeting new people. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. All right. So we'll try to catch up with you before you head out on the 7th.
all right, sounds good, Kathy. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Bye.